Hello, fellow ink drinkers, and welcome back to the Blind Girls Book Talk podcast. My name is Aria.
And I'm Belle.
And we are two legally blind sisters who love reading and love books. And so what we've done is we've created this show in order to talk about that. We talk about a wide variety of bookish topics, and that can range from bad retellings of stories, book to movie adaptation comparisons, buddy reads, recent reads, bookish challenges. Really, the list does go on and on. And today we're doing something that's a little bit different. It's more hypothetical, but it is essentially we're going to be talking about what it would look like if we had our own book club. Now, right now, Piper is eating her dinner, so we are just highly amused.
Yeah, so you're probably going to hear some of this in the audio, and we're sorry. She needed to eat, and she wasn't going to eat if she was out there by herself. She has this thing where she has to make a show of her eating, and Aria had a friend visiting, so she wasn't fully eating because she was, when we put her in her cage when we would leave, she would get like a cookie or like a huge thing stuffed with peanut butter, like a frozen thing stuffed with peanut butter and like things like that. So like she wasn't really eating, so like now we're just getting her back to her schedule, and she's making it known.
Yes, she is being the biggest ham to ever ham, and that's Piper. She is a princess.
She's so cute.
So that disclaimer out of the way, if you hear chomping, it's probably Piper. So we're going to be talking about what it would be like if we had a book club. And okay, now this is very random, but the reason I brought this up is because I thought it would be neat to be like, if I was the one in charge of like picking the books, what would I pick? Right? Because I'm chaotic when it comes to reading. Actually, life in general, I'm very chaotic.
I don't know who's more chaotic at this point with their reading, you or me.
I don't know.
Because I've gone into another dimension.
I don't know. The thing is like, I think I'm like the happy-go-lucky, just like chaotic reading what I want to read and like having a good time about it. And you are just like over there, like making moves that like I don't even understand.
Like you're over here just the chaotic good or chaotic neutral. I'm over here just straight chaotic evil.
When it comes to reading, yeah.
Yeah. Straight up. Because like, I don't know what's happening to me. That's next week's episode.
Yeah. So, okay. That disclaimer out of the way. Book-wise, what do you think you would pick if you had to like start setting up a book club? What is like the genre you would try to stick to? Like what would you be thinking of picking?
I would just have one book. Like, I have one book on my mind, but, like, I wouldn't stick to that genre. It would be a mix match of different things, because, like, I can't stick to a genre.
Yeah, I think that would be me, too. Like, I feel like there would be a good bit of romance. There would probably be some monster romance sprinkled in there, because I'm unhinged.
I feel like, you know, it would, like, I'd kind of correlate to the season, like, you know, when it comes to like September, October, do like a thriller or something, like a murder mystery type thing.
I think I would do mysteries because I don't like thrillers.
Yes, you don't like thrillers.
Thrillers are dumb.
I got Z to buy one of my favorite thriller authors' books. I was so happy. I'm like, yes, I convinced her. I have reached peak convincing people.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm proud of you.
I think she got it. I mean, I'm pretty sure she had it. I forget if she put it in her buggy, but she had it in her hand. Anyway, that aside, the only thing I know is I would start with Marcus Zusak's most underrated book of all time, which is I Am the Messenger, just because I want more people to read that book.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to see. For me, it would honestly depend. I think I would have to start Night Circus or Starless Sea. I think I would have to start off with like an Erin Morgenstern book, just because I love her. Like, I wish she would come out with another book. I would love that.
Didn't it take her so long to get Starless Sea out, though?
Yeah, it was. Honestly, I didn't even know Starless Sea like came out. And then like all of a sudden it was just kind of there. And I was just like, what? What is this? And I listened to it, and it was like, her writing is just, it's beautiful. And her books give me book hangovers. It is so hard to come back to the real world after reading her books. They're lovely. They are some of my favorites. But yeah, I think I would have to start with her. I don't know if I would start Night Circus or Starless Sea. I'd probably go Night Circus just because I love Night Circus. It's beautiful.
We know my thoughts on that book.
We know you hate it. Leave me be.
I don't. After whenever I listened to it, I didn't hate it as much as I did reading it. It's just not my favorite. You remember my notes. I had some lovely notes on that book.
You did.
I liked some of the things. Like, I'm not going to argue. Like, it is a well-written book. It was more so my argument with the characters. I got so frustrated with the characters. I got so frustrated with the time travel jumps. I'm like, I'm done. I got so frustrated with that. I hate when books do that. Says also the girl who read a good bit of the Outlander series. I got to book 4 and I gave up. I think it was book 4.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was book 4. Voyager is where I stopped.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, no, I think that, like, that's the thing, right? I feel like starting out with like a favorite would be how to go, but it wouldn't just be going through like all of my favorite books. Like, I would definitely pick ones that I find interesting that I would want to like share and talk about with other people.
Yeah, like I would have like some of my favorites, but like I would bring up other things that like I just think are interesting.
Now, the question is, would you do spicy books or not spicy? Would there be no spicy books?
Probably no.
Probably no.
Probably no.
That's fair.
For me, those books are private. Like, they should not be. They should not be discussed. They should not be discussed. They should not be shared.
That's true.
I feel like that just breaches some form of something somewhere.
Yeah, I think it would depend. Like, if it was just like a room full of strangers, it would definitely be a no. If it was like a group of friends,
yes,
that we made
it's a group of friends, like,
that would be
fine.
okay.
But like, I don't want to discuss those things with strangers.
Yeah, no, I am in agreement. And I think given that, like, depending on the parameters to this, I think if it was a group of strangers, I feel like I would do a lot more like just general fiction stuff and mysteries with the occasional romance sprinkled in.
See, I would go for more of like the quote unquote classic romances. Like, I would pull in Jane Austen. I would force people to read Jane Austen.
You would do a Pride and Prejudice one.
I would do Northanger Abbey. I would subject them to everything but Emma, because I hate Emma.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Emma either.
Emma's so dumb.
I wasn't a fan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, everybody loves Emma. I'm sorry. She rubs me the wrong way. I can't stand Emma. It ain't it. It ain't it for me.
It ain't it, Chief.
But things like that, like, that's probably, like, I may go for like the more, maybe an Allie Hazelwood, but like that would be probably as far as I go for romances.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
and like that would only be for like February.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would honestly do more romances. Like, I know I would probably do Thursday Murder Club. I know that I would probably do Oh, what was the one? There was a series that I read that it was kind of like the Of Manners and Monsters series. I feel like I would do also some fantasy stuff too, sprinkled in, like the ones that I find very interesting or very good.
Yeah, I would throw in the Forensic of Fables series, like at least the first one. Yeah, I would bring in that just because I'd love people to talk about it with.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't subject people to the whole series. Like if it was something that like everybody would agree on that they want to continue.
Well, yeah, so I guess that is the question then. Would you even consider doing series?
Yeah, I would do a series if like people enjoyed the first one and wish to consider it.
Mm-hmm.
I would do it if people like wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Like if people were like, oh, I really like this first one, I would love to continue with this series. Like it may be the next book, it might not be that next month, but it may be like the month after. Mm-hmm. And then see if people still want to continue it from there and, you know, just like scatter it a bit. But like I would if people wanted to. If people were like, I hated this book, then I would be like, okay, we ain't continuing on.
Yeah. See, for me, it's hard, right? Because if it's a series that I love, I don't know if I would bring it just because like I would want to keep going. And if people were like, nah, that book wasn't for me, I didn't like this book, I would be so sad and be like, why? Like, this is a good series. So I don't know. I think that I almost would have to stay away from series just because I don't want to like be like, oh, I want to keep going, and then everybody else be like, please stop. Like, please, we've had enough. We're done. Please let me go. I want off. Stop the world.
Yeah, like I get that. So like I don't want to. If it's not something other people will like, I'm gonna just be like, okay, we won't continue this series. But if more people show an interest in continuing, then yeah. Like, I may even be like, okay, what should we think of it? And, like, if it's a mixed bag, I'd read the synopsis of the next book and be like, do we want to continue? Mm-hmm. Yay or nay?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that would be a good way of doing it. I also like the idea of doing, like, standalone books, but they're, like, kind of connected, sort of, kind of, in a sense. But you don't have to necessarily like read the other books to like understand what's going on. Like they're all their own separate thing. But again, that's just me personally, my opinion. You know, that's how I would do it.
Yeah, because like for me, I'm like, I don't want to force other people to do it.
Well, no, and that I know you mentioned doing like the classic romances. Would you bring in other classics?
Yeah, I'd probably throw in a Dickens here or there, make people read Rebecca. I could be more evil and make them read Lord of the Flies.
Rebecca, I think, is worse.
No, Lord of the Flies is horrible. Or Animal Farm. I could be mean. Or
Animal Farm is not that bad.
Be more evil and do Brave New World or 1984.
You haven't read Brave New World. I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to read
until you read Brave New until you are subjected to the torture that I was subjected to.
Girl, you think I'm going to waste money on that?
I'm going to waste my money on it and make you read it.
No, you ain't.
Yeah, I will. Yes, ma'am, I will. But yeah, no. See, because I'm not a classics girl, I don't know that I would do a classic. I think if I would do any, it would probably just be like Pride and Prejudice, just because I love that book. If I came across another classic where I'm just like, yes, this, then I hold the right to change my mind later on down the line. But like the only one that I would be like, if you have not read this, we need to be changing that now. Like we need to be reading that now. It would be Pride and Prejudice. But that's just me. We all know I love Pride and Prejudice.
I know you do. I love Pride and Prejudice and I love Northanger Abbey.
I couldn't do Northanger.
You are insane.
I couldn't. It was all right, but it's not Pride and Prejudice. I did try it though, so we give me points for that. We give me credit for that. I also tried. What was the other one I tried other than Emma?
Persuasion.
Yep, that's the one where I felt called out.
Persuasion.
Persuasion. Yeah, no, I wasn't a fan of that one either. But yeah, now, okay. This is just me thinking, would you do like a themed night? Like themed things like the drinks or the snacks or stuff around the book? Would you be that level?
I would be some sort of that level. I would have like something tied into the book, whether or not it was like an activity or drinks or things like that. I would, I think, do something. I just don't know exactly what. Because for me, it would depend on the book.
Yeah.
Because, like, for me, if we read The Book Thief, I'd maybe have a bookbinding activity. But if we read something like
Pride and Prejudice.
Like, I'd have, like, a different activity. Or, like, I'm trying to think something that had, like, a food or drink reference. Like, Pride and Prejudice, I'd probably do, like, a tea. Or, like, something, like, I would do something.
Excellent boiled potatoes.
Yes, I would serve boiled potatoes.
Even though that's not in the book.
I would still do it. I would do it.
Boiled potatoes.
I would so do it just because I would do it just for the kicks and giggles it would give me. Not everybody else, but me. I would laugh. I would laugh. Only me, if I'm the only one who gets the reference. But, like, things like that, like, I would do something, because I feel like that just would spark more conversation than just going and sitting down and just being like, well, who wants to start?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, it's just like, it ain't worth it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it would depend on the book and how crazy I would want to be. Because, like, if it's something like Night Circus, right? I would be like, listen. You have your option. You can wear all black. You can wear black and white. You can wear black, white, and a little bit of red. But, like, those are your options. Like, you have a dress code.
See, you go that far. For me, I would just be like,
but it would only depend on the book, though. Like, I wouldn't do something like that for, like, Pride and Prejudice, or, like, I don't know, what other books would I pick? Like, any of the mystery books. Like, I wouldn't do that with it. It would just be for the ones that I'm like, there is a very clear theme to this book. Like, there is a very clear, this. But also, like, if somebody were to not follow that, like, okay, that's fine. Like, it's just because this is a very clear theme with this book that it makes sense to do that. But again, that's just me. That's my opinion. What else do people do at book clubs?
I don't know. We've never been a part of one.
Not really. I mean, like, the thing is, though, is, like, we kind of have our own mini book club in a way. It's just, like, us, though, and, like, sometimes Z. It just kind of depends.
Yeah, when I will force other people to read what I want. When Arya's friend Z was here, and, for listeners of this podcast, you have met Z. She has been on to discuss some books with Arya, things like that. But when she was here, we went to different bookshops and everything. And it was really nice. And, like, I was like, Z, I need you to read Forensic of Fables because I have questions and I need someone to talk this out with. And you were the only one I have. So, like, I'm like, she's like, oh, okay, I'll get to it eventually, blah, blah, blah. And then we found this book, and it's a Pride and Prejudice retelling. I'm not going to give the name or anything here yet because I need to read it. But I read the synopsis. I was confused. I brought it over to Arya and Z, and I'm like, somebody else read this. because I'm confused.
And we both read it, and my brain noped out. My brain was just like, nope.
Your brain noped out. Poor Z was like, I'm confused. And I'm like, great, I'm confused too. So do I get it or not? And like, they both convinced me to get it. And like, Z was like, if you read it and don't understand, send it to me and I'll read it. So I'm like, Z, when you get a package of this book with the note of, I am so confused on what is happening, please read this book.
Yeah.
Because like that's the same thing. Like for Forensic of Fables, I'm just like, I have questions, and I know Z has a wider range of what she reads like me. So I'm like, I think you would have some sort of answer to some of my questions because I'm confused. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm missing something or like answers aren't being given. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what, but I'm just like, I need someone else. Mm-hmm. And I know she's read more fantasy like books. So I'm like, my questions fall under that category. So like, please read.
Yeah, if it wasn't a thriller, I would be reading it too.
I wouldn't even really say it's a thriller. It has more thriller elements than what you go for.
Yeah,
it has more action.
I'm not a thriller girly. I'm not. I wish I was, but I am not. It's. I like my mysteries. I like my like cozy mysteries. I'm more in that camp. Although I've been struggling with reading anyway lately, but like cozy mysteries in general too, like they're just not it. Like they're not what I want, and it's very frustrating.
I find them so boring.
I like them, but also like sometimes they're not it, and it makes my heart sad because I want them to be it.
I think it's like I just need the action.
Yeah, you need the thrillerness of it. I just like the good old little mystery. I mean, but then again, I love like Murder, She Wrote, where it's just Jessica Fletcher going along.
I love Murder, She Wrote too. It's one of my all-time favorite shows. Angela Lansbury.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Miss you.
Miss you. You were fan-freaking-tastic. Like, everything you touched was amazing. So, like, for me, it's like, I like that, but I don't know whether, like, when I watch Murder, She Wrote, like, yeah, it has those cozy crime elements, but it also, like, the way, because it's an older show, like, the way they do it, it does have some of that.
It has some noir to it.
Yeah, it has some of that, like, slight thrill, like that classic old school thrill.
Depending on the episode, there's a little bit of noir, and like sometimes it can be really like cheesy and campy too. Yeah. But like it's just, I don't know, it's good. It's good stuff. We enjoy it. We approve. And like even sometimes it can be unhinged, and that's okay. Like it's allowed to just live its life and do its thing.
Between that and
Psych's a good show.
Psych was a good show.
I don't think I brought it down with me.
I don't think you did. Why didn't you do that?
Because technically it's not mine. That's why. It's at the house.
Whose is it then?
Mom's, Dad's, the parentals. Not mine.
Can I commandeer it? Can it be mine?
You can fight for that one.
I remember when we stayed up late and we watched the one episode, and then we were freaked out. Some of those episodes, because it is newer-ish, it's more recent than Murder, She Wrote. Mm-hmm. So, like, some of the things are a lot more darker. Mm-hmm. Can get a lot more darker. We watched probably the darkest episode in the early seasons, and, like, we were freaked out. Mm-hmm. We were like, why did we do this?
Yeah.
Mistakes were made.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I think that all in all, though, it would definitely be for both of us just a general mix of, between the different genres. It wouldn't just be the same thing every time. And I think we would be, I know I would be selfish and be like, I liked this book. Try it. Here you go. Give it a shot and give it a try. But that's just me.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I think I would try to pick, like, I'd pick something that I had previously read. Like, I wouldn't just, like, randomly choose a random book.
Mm-hmm.
I'd want to be able to vouch for something of it.
Yeah, I think so, too. I don't think I would just be like, yes, this book. Like, it would definitely be a, this is what I would want to do. Now, would you have other people, like, be like, okay, you pick a book? Like,
I would maybe be like, see, here's my, like, it depends. If I'm in a group of friends, I saw something came up on my Instagram For You page, and it was a bunch of friends who have, like, their own little book club, and they put in recommendations
neat.
that they want to read, and then they, like, pull them out, like, one by one. Like, they write the name of the book on a piece of paper, and they put it in a bowl, and then the last one remaining in the bowl is what they read.
Okay.
Which, for, like, a group of friends, I think that's a really nice idea. And, like, if the book club got closer and became more friends than strangers, I think that would be a good idea. But it may be, like, if you have a recommendation, let me know, and I will possibly add it.
Right.
But, like, I don't know. I feel like when it could be like a group of more strangers and acquaintances, I feel like just having people pick that could lead to a bunch of issues.
Yeah, I think that it would be dependent for me. Although I feel like, again, it would depend, because sometimes I feel like I just wouldn't want to pick. Like, so I would just be like, I would go through, depending on how many people are in the club, however many months. Okay. What would you pick? What would you want to read? And have it be more that way, so it's a little less pressure. But again, that's very dependent on a lot of different factors, personally, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm also just thinking of, like, how book clubs down here work, how it's, like, people come and go by the month. So it's, like, I don't want to...
Yeah, it would have to be people who are, like, there consistently that would be able to put in. Like, you have to have come to at least, like, 3 months in a row before, like, you can be put in for, like, before it's like, okay, what would you want to read? Like, what would your recommendation be?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I think I would also be, I don't know. I feel like it could open a can of worms that I don't know. There are advantages and drawbacks to everything. I think it's also just a difference in our personalities. I'm more of I will take on everything and it'll be fine type of person. And you're very much of, we can split the work.
Well,
not necessarily.
We
but
can
like,
split the work, but just like, I want to hear your opinions too. Like, I don't want it to just be all of my things all of the time if I can help it. Like, if it's appropriate to have another recommendation, to hear what somebody else wants to do and like have them lead the discussion, sure. And if they're willing to do that, sure. But like, if not, that's okay too. For me, it can be more either way. So, all right. Any other topics that I'm forgetting about, or any other final thoughts from you, Belle?
Well, here's one. Would you have like a Discord to talk about like through the month?
I don't know that I would. Only because I feel like you would get all of your discussion out before book club. If I were to have one, there would be very like set rules of like, you can't talk about anything about the book. Like, you can be like, I'm in this place, things are crazy, like, but like no spoilers, no nothing. Like, it's just a general this, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know that I would. Mm-hmm. I feel like, to me, that would be where I would think it would get too messy.
I don't know. I feel like I would want to have something, mm-hmm. but I don't necessarily know if it would be that. Like, I'd want to be able to communicate more than just once a month.
Yeah. You see, and that's where my problem is, right? Because, like, having a place where you can communicate more than once a month is nice. Like, it's a very good idea. Or maybe that's how you do it. It's if you can communicate and talk, and you can talk about other books, just not the book club book. Like, yeah. If it's the book club book, you don't talk about that one until, like, after book club has happened.
Yeah, maybe, because, like, then, if, like, you happen to not be able to come that month.
Yeah, somebody can put a sum up of, like, hey, this was our thoughts. If you didn't get to come, this is what you missed.
This is, like, you can now add to the discussion, and everybody else can still chime in. Like, things like that, I think, would be nice.
Yeah.
But I'd maybe use it to be like, okay, for next month, this is the book. Here is a list of 3 activities I'm thinking. Vote for which one you would want to do.
Yeah, I think that it would be good for things like that. And like I said, even just, like, reading other book, like, if somebody's reading another book and they want to talk about it, it would be a good place to kind of discuss it there in general. Because, again, if it's, someone who it eventually becomes a thing that they're picking the book and that's the book they want to pick, they can be like, hey, I mentioned it here. Like, I didn't say much, but this is why I think, it's really good, and blah, 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 blah. And, being able to do it that way.
Yeah, I think that would be nice. Or something similar. I don't know. I feel like I would want something to connect people. Like, even if it was, like, just talking about, like, other things going on mm-hmm. in their lives. Like, I'd want something to connect my group. Because, like, it may just be the introvert of me of, I just don't want to have a group of strangers come and talk every month.
Yeah.
I know you'd get to be more acquainted as time goes on. It's just, I don't know. It feels like it would take longer
for you, yeah,
to make any sort of friendship, relationship, connection with people.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, it can be a lot. So I think having something where it's, you can talk, more than just once a month, it would be nice. I think it just, in order to do it, there just has to be ground rules of, like, this is what you can talk about. Don't talk about this until this point, that kind of thing. It's just not,
yeah,
all that all the time. All right. Well, I think that's about all I can think of to talk about this topic. And I think that was your last thought on it, right?
Yeah.
So that being said, we want to thank you guys for coming along as we talked about how we would run a book club if we would have one. Of course, if you like this episode, if you like what you've been listening to, please consider following the podcast and sharing the episode with your friends. It really would help us to grow the show, and we would appreciate the support those actions would give. And hey, if you just want to leave a review, that would be okay too. And then what are we going to be talking about next time?
What's going on with my reading?
Yes. So Belle's going to talk more about what's going on with her and her insanity. So
weird things are happening, everybody.
Yep.
It's weird.
Yep. It's more of a state of the union for Belle's reading.
Honestly.
So that being said, hey, thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.